Tantor Audio, a division of Recorded Books, presents Day Zero by Kelly Devos, narrated by M. Eldridge. Tonight, I will save the world. It's taken months to build the perfect guild, get everyone to level 99, mine ore, forge the best armor, and train for the mission. Now I've got a foolproof plan to kill the dragon, charge the Cataline Hills, and save the Elysian Fields. I'm ready for the raid. Tonight. Well, almost. I get out my phone as I enter the empty history classroom. Dropping my backpack on the floor near my usual desk, I notice that there's one item on my list that doesn't have a check mark. Snacks. It's not a raid without cheese puffs and extra jolt strawberry soda. I'll have to stop at the store on the way home from school. But after that, I will save the world of Republici. When I do, my virtual world will be happy, peaceful, and predictable. Which is cool, because my real world is such a mess. A complete, total mess. For example, MacKenna enters the classroom and slides into the seat next to me. Hi, Jinx. My shoulders tense at the sound of my horrible nickname. No one loves to call me a Jinx more than my stepsister. She's come from her journalism class and, as usual, carries all the electronic tablets she uses to write her stories. She dumps the stack on her desk and fiddles with a strand of her long black hair. I reach up to touch the bun on the top of my head and confirm what I already knew. I, too, am a mess. Waving one of the e-tablets in front of my face, MacKenna says, "Look at this. The science teacher caught some jackasses called Jules and Bex making out in the chem classroom. That's what they want me to write about." I roll my eyes at the bright image on the screen. All I see is a photo of two people having a lot more fun than I am. On the wall in front of us, the cracked, oversized classroom clock ticks away. I'm waiting for the bell to ring. This is my last class of the day. I'm ready for this Monday to be over. MacKenna keeps talking. She taps the e-tablet screen with her thumb. Mr. Johnson killed my article about that snotty soccer mom from the opposition who got pissed at the school secretary and threw a drink in her face at the winter banquet. She pokes the picture again. For this, he said we have to limit our reports to student life. I pull my laptop out of my bag and position it on the small desk. A few clicks later and my digital history book stares back at me on the screen. The red, white, and blue flag waving in an animated loop. He probably wants people to focus on lab work and not locking lips. Anyway, do we really need to be so political all the time? At the front of the room, the teacher's faded red leather chair sits empty. And the bell doesn't ring. MacKenna rearranges the e-tablets. You been to the front office recently? The secretary is still wearing an eye patch. An ice cube bruised the lady's eyeball and she can't see right. All because she wore a t-shirt from The Spark. How are we supposed to forget that the opposition and the Spark are almost at war? 20 years from now, people will still be talking about the election. Nobody will remember that Bex put his tongue down Jules' throat. Life is political, Jinx. Her life might be political. Mine is complicated. I pretend to read my book. The classroom fills up and people say hi to MacKenna as they pass. After our parents got married, we moved to a new house and I changed schools. We've been here at Rancho Mesa High for 6 months, and she knows everyone in school. Meanwhile, no one remembers my name. It's just as well. I've always been more comfortable with computers than people. This is how it is, MacKenna continues, now with an audience of several members of the debate club leaning out of their desks. I'm going for the most likely to be a media mogul backstory, not pathetic underachiever who overcame adversity to succeed later in life. Writing public service announcements about driving less than 5 miles an hour in the parking lot or what to do if your e-paper stops working in the middle of a test is not going to make that happen. You know, oh, here we go. In Boulder, MacKenna continues to scowl at the pictures. In Boulder? I think class is about to start. We had a real newspaper. Monthly, in print, to learn how they did things in the old days. You know, real journalism. We wrote real articles. I did a big expose on cash that was missing from the school slush fund. Then, the principal hired her nephew to repave the parking lot, and I broke the story. Now, thanks to... MacKenna trails off mid-sentence as my mom breezes into the room, her long mahogany brown hair flowing behind her. She pushes up the sleeves of her red cashmere sweater and places a stack of books neatly on the corner of her desk. As usual, she looks like a movie star playing a teacher. My face heats up. Mom is great. But it seems like there ought to be some kind of rule against being in a class where your mother is the teacher and your stepsister is in the next desk. But since the last round of school budget cuts, there's only one history teacher and only one junior history class. So here we are. MacKenna's glare bounces from Mom back to me. I know MacKenna hated to leave Colorado, but I don't know why she's so desperate to blame me for the situation we're both in. Our parents met at some celebrity golf tournament for the bank, where her dad, Jay, works. I mean, it's not like I set them up or something. Mom married Jay over the summer, and they're happy, and that's good. But it's not like I love sharing a bathroom with a stepsister who spends more time doing her eyeliner than it takes me to download the latest Republici patches. Mom falls into the squeaky red chair, opens her laptop and makes a few taps. The words "Causes of the New Depression" appear in green block letters on the e-chalkboard. It's been a long time since the LED panels have been replaced, so once in a while the letters blink and disappear. MacKenna's shoulders slump. Anyway, I'm stuck here, she whispers. I don't think anyone besides me is listening, and most of the class breaks out in laughter when the board briefly reads, "Cuss the N press on." Mom clears her throat. All right. For the first half of class, we will begin our discussion on the historical and financial causes of the New Depression. Then we'll start our book reports. Please flip your e-text to page 187. After making a couple more clicks on her laptop, Mom rises from the red chair. An image of a small crowd standing in the rain in front of the White House appears on the e-chalkboard. As you know, she begins, this morning, Ammon Carver was inaugurated as the country's next president, following a surprise victory for the opposition in a very contentious election. The defeat of the Spark and David Rosenthal. Everyone's for Rosenthal, someone calls from the back. The class erupts into a frenzy. MacKenna unzips her hoodie to reveal a t-shirt with the words, "Everyone's for Rosenthal" in blue script on the front. Sure, everyone's for Rosenthal. Is class over yet? Mom gives us one of her annoyed teacher looks that silences everyone. She continues louder than before. The election results are widely believed to be the result of complex feelings about the new depression. Our discussion will help us understand today's confusing events. My whole life has been a confusing event. I scroll to page 187 and stare at a picture of a nearly abandoned suburban neighborhood, below a headline that reads, "The Dangers of a Two-Party Political System." At the front of the room, Mom paces on the cheap blue carpet. Maybe you have heard the Spark say that this is an age of moral crisis. The new depression arose from the need to pay for and atone for the injustices of the past. Or maybe you've heard the opposition say that this is an era of economic crisis created by bad decisions made by the Spark over the past 10 years. Or maybe those are the kinds of things people say when they don't know what they're talking about, MacKenna mutters. The kinds of things they hope aren't actually true. I tune out the rest. The fact that Ammon Carver and the opposition spent the past couple of years successfully blaming David Rosenthal and the Spark for everything going wrong with the economy is a frequent topic of conversation around our house. If I need to know which senator signed off on the bill that quadrupled the price of bread, or who increased taxes on gas, Mom will be very happy to repeat her lecture. Mom keeps talking and talking and talking. The Spark became the party of identity politics, and their willingness to spend tax dollars on programs to ensure civil rights is an important part of their platform. This means that I keep watching the clock. Tick, tock. With a powerful pool of backers, including the Carver family and the First Federal Bank, the opposition has tried to position itself as the party of rugged individualism. But its main objective has been to block attempts to levy taxes on the rich, without a way to raise funds for... I log into the Republici forum and post another reminder about the raid to make sure my guild knows the attack plan. Finally, Mom concludes with, "Okay, for tomorrow, read pages 190 through 205 and be ready for a quiz on Wednesday." She clears her throat. And now, on to book reports. Any volunteers? I'm not really surprised when my stepsister's hand shoots into the air. MacKenna Novak is always ready. She was born ready. Mom nods, and MacKenna heads to the front of the room. I smirk. Mom will take the volunteers first and then call us in alphabetical order. Which means it'll be at least Friday before we get to me. Which is why I'll be playing video games tonight and not writing a book report. My smirk shifts into a smile. The fun is short-lived, though. My breath catches as MacKenna pulls a familiar orange book from her backpack and carries it in front of her with her arms outstretched dramatically. The same way that the priest carries the Bible at church. "This is Dr. Doomsday's Guide to Ultimate Survival," MacKenna says in a booming voice. A couple people laugh. It takes everything I've got to stop myself from groaning. I'm expecting Mom to do something about this. Put a stop to it. But she's got a smile that borders on amused. She grabs her laptop and moves to a table in the back of the room. MacKenna connects her own laptop to the e-chalkboard as she talks. By Dr. Maxwell Marshall. A larger-than-life picture of my father's bearded face fills the screen. MacKenna has managed to convert old news archive footage into a video loop, so every few seconds, Dad squints or nods. Yeah, Dad. Here's a little pop quiz about him. Guess which option best describes my dad. A. He was a halfway normal computer science professor, until he became convinced that society was teetering on the edge of Armageddon. B. He quit his job and wrote a book, Dr. Doomsday's Guide to Ultimate Survival. It's illustrated and every bit as ridiculous as it sounds. C. Ammon Carver was Dad's old buddy from his army days. They stayed in touch. D. All of the above. The correct answer is D. Sigh. MacKenna leans on the desk. She has a few small, bright-colored note cards in her hand. Dr. Marshall is a noted computer science professor famous for his hacker exploits, study of cryptography, and the creation of complex data models at Arizona State University. Up until last year, he worked as a consultant for the opposition and for Ammon Carver personally. Marshall's work became the basis for the opposition's election victory. My father's work. The best-known piece of Dad's work, Doomsday, was a worm he designed to teach his students about the file server vulnerability. A few years ago, someone unleashed it into the real world. The worm doubled in size every 8 seconds and took down 75,000 servers in less than 10 minutes. Camerican, the only survivor of the airline wars, had to cancel all its flights for 3 days. Police precincts in 7 states resorted to using notepads to keep track of emergency calls. The only reason Dad didn't end up in jail was that the cops needed his help to stop the thing. I open a new window on my laptop and pull up Dad's archive. His code fills the screen. Like all his stuff, it's clean, precise. A tiny little packet of code. Just 376 bytes. There's something about it, though. Dad says that, to catch bad guys, we have to think like they do. To understand why they do what they do. Malware, bots, worms, ransomware. He writes these to show how they work and how to stop them. The code was supposed to be helpful. Instead, it was ominous. MacKenna changes the image on the screen to a picture of a traffic jam. Dr. Marshall's theories on everything from social media use to traffic patterns helped the opposition suppress votes. For example, in Georgia, they were able to spread a rumor online that Carver had defeated Rosenthal by noon that day. Experts estimate that Dr. Marshall's rumor was responsible for a significant decrease in voter turnout among Rosenthal supporters who... Dad left the opposition last year for reasons that aren't clear to me. I snort. It wasn't my dad's rumor, MacKenna. He only wrote the program that... The first few rows of the class turn to face me. I snap my mouth shut and make a show of examining my laptop screen. Mom makes her way up my aisle and clears her throat again. Miss Marshall, if you'd like to pass feedback to the presenter, please do so using the online form. She pauses near my desk, stares at the doomsday code on my screen, and stuffs her hands in the pockets of her brown corduroy pants. I minimize the code window. Let's stay on task here, she says. Okay, Mom. Mrs. Novak. I stammer. MacKenna almost jumps at the sound of her own last name. She continues her presentation, but with less enthusiasm than before. 2 years ago, Dr. Marshall became convinced that not even the anti-democratic antics of the opposition would be enough to save the world. He adopted the nickname Dr. Doomsday and wrote this book. She holds up the safety orange paperback manual again. It's a weird combination of survival advice and bizarre ramblings. The reader is told to always carry waterproof watches. Oh, and also that the world is going to end at any minute. I turn in my seat to check on Mom. She's returned to the table at the back of the room and is sitting there serenely, making notes in her grade book. Like it doesn't bother her at all that she's basically listening to a lecture about what destroyed our family. It bothers me. Mom spent a long time trying to pass off Dad's obsession with prepper doomsday drills as a midlife crisis. Until last year, when she finally decided she'd had enough and tossed him out. I get it. It's not fun to spend all your weekends in an underground bunker trying to figure out if you can live without plumbing, or at seminars on how to suture your own wounds. The fact that Mom is for the spark and Dad is sort of for the opposition didn't help. At the front of the classroom, MacKenna reads some passages from Dad's book and puts a couple of his illustrations on the e-chalkboard. She concludes her report with, Dr. Doomsday's Guide to Ultimate Survival, a top-selling and often quoted book, perfectly represents the way that the opposition has used paranoia and propaganda to seize power. MacKenna ends her presentation by putting Dad's giant face back up on the e-chalkboard. She snaps the book shut and returns to her seat. Someone in the front row mutters, "It isn't paranoia if people are really out to get you." A blonde girl speaks up. I should probably know these people by now, but truthfully, I prefer my online friends. Do you think it's true? The girl asks. What they said on the news? That President Carver wants to disband the Senate? That he's considering martial law? A nervous energy surges through the classroom, and everywhere I look I see worried faces. We won't know anything for a while, and we need to remain calm until we do. Mom glides up the aisle and turns off the image of Dad's nodding head. Excellent analysis, as always, Miss Novak. Although a bit off topic, as your book choice doesn't address any of the causes of the New Depression. I'm afraid I'll have to deduct some points for relevance. MacKenna frowns. The relevance is that the opposition doesn't actually care about fixing the economy. They've done as much as anybody to cause the New Depression, because it helps them. It keeps people desperate enough to do anything. Mom smiles. You'll need to do a better job making that connection in your written report, or you're looking at a B here. The bell rings. I close my laptop and shove it in my backpack. Mom stands by the door, saying goodbyes and giving out homework reminders. Before MacKenna gets up, I lean toward her. That was mean. She drops her backpack on top of her desk. It was the truth. I swallow the lump in my throat. I'm sorry you hate me, but that was a pretty crappy way to get revenge. And to scare the hell out of everybody. She cocks her head to the side. I don't hate you, and I don't want revenge. My face heats in an equal mixture of embarrassment and anger. MacKenna stands and comes closer. Listen, there's something that you need to know. I don't get to find out what I need to know. Mom waves us toward the door. Girls, you need to get a move on it. Charles is waiting. Charles is my little brother. He goes to an elementary school around the corner, and we pick him up each day after school. The classroom is clear, and Mom's formal demeanor falls away. She approaches our desks. MacKenna, Ted, Mr. Johnson showed me your article about the incident in the school office. Your piece was well written, well researched, and deserves to be on the school website. I'll speak with him and see what I can do. A kind of disgusted frown crosses MacKenna's face. I can talk to him myself, Stephanie. Mom tucks a strand of shiny hair behind her ear. I'll at least put in a good word for you. We both finish putting our stuff away, and Mom walks us to the door. In the hall, There's an argument in progress between the school's 2 football coaches. Strictly speaking, the teachers aren't supposed to talk politics at school. But they find ways to air their differences. One of the coaches wears a red shirt and the other a blue one. They make jabbing motions at each other, and the names Carver and Rosenthal drift up the corridor. Mom stares at the scene. Do you ever wonder what is wrong with this world? Farther up the hall, a student in a black baseball cap crashes a library cart into the double doors. This breaks Mom out of her reverie. You should get on the road. People are on edge today. I want you to go straight home. I try to give her a reassuring smile. Everything will be okay, Mom. MacKenna swings her backpack over her shoulder. Think so, do you? I cross my arms. My dad made us do survival drills for floods, hurricanes, droughts, famines, nuclear war, foreign invasion, and the collapse of the government. And do you know what happened? What? MacKenna asks, sounding genuinely interested. Absolutely nothing. Every day I wake up, and everything is the same as the day before. Life goes on. I step out of the doorway without waiting for a response. MacKenna is a few steps behind me in the hall. Until it doesn't, she says. The coaches stop talking as we get closer. Go straight home, Mom calls after us. Dr. Doomsday's Guide to Ultimate Survival. Rule 1. Always be prepared. Outside, it's sunny with an empty blue sky that stretches on forever. I swing my backpack over my shoulder as we cross the mostly empty campus. The town can't afford to plant winter grass, so everything on the ground is yellowing and dry. The kid who crashed the library cart zooms by on an electric scooter, a blur of dark hair and green camouflage clothes, missing us by only a foot or so. MacKenna jumps back. Hey, watch it, Navarro! You know him? I continue to stare, watching the scooter move across the uneven, rocky parking lot toward the football fields. This info shouldn't have come as a surprise. She knows everyone. Yeah, she says as she walks and digs in her bag for the car keys. He's in my physics class. Oh, and his mom runs the district nutritional services. He's the guy who tossed me out when I tried to break into her office. MacKenna sets a fast pace. She might have hated me at first sight, and she can't stand living in the outskirts of Phoenix. But she positively loves my little brother and doesn't want to leave him stuck at school. Wait, you broke into someone's office? I ask, struggling to keep up. I tried, she says as we arrive at the shiny white Prius 18 that Jay bought for us after the wedding. I'm telling you, there's something up with those tofu nuggets they serve on Thursdays. We hesitate in front of the car. She's about to say, that story's got legs. We're supposed to share the car, but MacKenna usually insists on driving. This would probably have been okay because I don't like to drive anyway. Drills, where we practiced rolling out of a moving car, is what passed for driver's education with my dad. But MacKenna's way of rebelling against her move from Boulder has been to stubbornly refuse to use auto drive, or to memorize any of the street names or directions. If I don't pay careful attention to where we're going, we end up lost. MacKenna slides behind the wheel and gets the car going. The library cart guy is gone as she steers us onto the street. I want to ask more questions about both the mysterious boy and when MacKenna manages to find time to break into the school. But I have to focus. Turn right on Hauser, I tell her when it looks like she'll miss our turn. The drive to Cory Booker Elementary takes about 5 minutes from
Sample complete. Ready to continue?